Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys coming by to watch the video. Always grateful for that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about the Joplin tornadoes. Not tornado, everybody knows about the big Joplin tornado in 2011, but the other tornadoes that have hit Joplin, including one 2 days ago that devastated my parents' place down in Joplin. I want to talk about that a little bit in today's video. Also, guys, so we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping tips. I just want to give everybody a big thank you to the people out there that have been taking time to subscribe here to Intuitive Angling, and everybody that's been using all my links I put in the description, especially my Tackle Warehouse links. You guys are doing that. You're really helping the channel out. So just a big daily thanks to everybody that's taken part of that. Really appreciate it. Okay, guys, yesterday, 2 days ago, there was another tornado that came through Joplin, an EF1, and it just happened to go straight through my mom and dad's place there. And I am absolutely sick about it because they're at my mom and dad's place. My mom and dad, they're both passed away now, but the place that I grew up there and that my dad actually lived there since 1937, there's a bunch, like probably 30 or 40 gigantic walnut trees. I'm talking these walnut trees are 200-300 years old. They were here, back when the Native Americans were the only people in Missouri. Gigantic, beautiful walnut trees, a bunch of oak trees. They had 16, guys. We had 16 gigantic walnut trees and oak trees toppled down or, got uprooted in that tornado 2 days ago. And what I want to do in the video is I want to talk about the 4 tornadoes that have hit Joplin since I've been there a little bit and sort of give you guys a little backstory on that. So the first one was in 1970, and another thing about it is like Joplin, people think that, the Tornado Alley is Oklahoma and Texas. The dang Tornado Alley is Joplin, Missouri, after I get done talking about it here. But anyway, 1973 was the first tornado that I remember, and me and my dad I was a little kid, just in grade school. Me and my dad were at the hardware store in downtown Joplin there, and we had a tornado come through. And I remember, the sirens were on, and we were behind the counter in the hardware store looking out at we were right on Main Street in Joplin, and I remember seeing a car just tumbling end over end down the road from this tornado, and I think that tornado killed 7 people. About 3 or 4 years later, we had another tornado, and I remember this one. I was still in grade school, and we were getting ready to go to school. Tornado sirens came on, tornado was coming through, and we have a little cellar in my mom and dad's kitchen, so we were in that cellar, and you could peek out and see the house next door to ours, and you could just see the shingles just standing straight up on top of the roof. And also, we had a gigantic walnut tree in our yard. This thing was like bigger than your car hood. It got uprooted and went through my bedroom ceiling upstairs on my bedroom, knocked a big hole in the ceiling there, and I think that one killed 3 people. And then we've got the massive one, the 2011 Joplin tornado, which was the costliest tornado in United States history. Guys, you can't imagine this thing. You absolutely can't imagine what this thing did. I was on my way back from the Red River. I was fishing an FLW tournament, and I got about probably 5 miles away from town, and my mom and dad called me, and they go, "Randy, there's tornado warnings. There's tornado, on the ground close to Joplin here." They had no idea how big it was at the time. So I can look up there and I can see how dark it is, and I'm about 5 miles out. And as I get into town, the tornado had just passed. I'm talking that just within minutes it had went through the town. And I got there in Joplin there, and guys, it was like literally, you've seen pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. That's exactly what this looked like. You picture if you could have set down a mile-wide tornado on the west end of Joplin, in the middle of town, like perfectly in the middle of town, and put a mile-wide lawnmower and went all the way across town and then lift up on the other side of town. It literally created a mile-wide path of destruction right through the middle of Joplin for the entire length of it. It was unbelievable. 250 some people killed. There was like 1,500 people injured. I can't believe there wasn't 20,000 people killed. I don't understand. If you look at that, when I was in town there, when I pulled up there, people screaming everywhere. You couldn't there wasn't a single telephone pole standing. Every telephone pole was down. There was, fire shooting out of the natural gas, spigots there. There was water coming up everywhere from the pipes. There was no street signs. You couldn't tell where you were. I'd lived there my whole life, and I couldn't even hardly orient myself. And it was the most disturbing thing, most surreal, sad, just unbelievable deal. And over the course of that, I mean, I got talking to people that were actually there in it. And I remember talking to there was a couple different guys there. I remember talking to this one dude. We were at Home Depot about 6 months later, waiting in line there. And he said that he was driving to work down Main Street there in Joplin. And of course, he had no idea this tornado was on the way. It came just like that. He said the thing it picked his car up and lifted him like 40 feet in the air and just spun him around like end over end, and then dropped the car straight back down on its wheels, and it didn't hurt him at all. And then there was another story there. There was a couple that took, shelter in a car wash, and the tornado went right through the car wash, and they found their bodies 2 miles away from there. It was just an absolute horror show. Literally, unless you were there, unless you saw it in person, you can't really grasp the feel for the destruction on it, the power of this thing. I think it had, over 200-mile-an-hour winds, and, it was like the sky turned black. I talked to a bunch of different people that, the tornado came through about 5:30 in the afternoon, and they said it literally was black out, like pitch black dark. That's how, intense the clouds were on it. So that was just unbelievable, man. It's just completely changed the city. And then the next one here was the one yesterday, 2 days ago over there. And it's like I said, my mom and dad passed away a couple of years ago. So me and my sister have been taking care of the property down there. And like I said, it's sort of my little homestead because I grew up there and I lived there since I was a little kid. My dad has been in my mom and dad's family since the 1930s. And all these big oak trees and walnut trees I used to play under when I was a little kid, things are sitting on their side now. EF1 tornado went right through the property there, just uprooted all that type of deal. So anyway, I just wanted to share those stories. Like I said, it doesn't really have anything to do with fishing, but I've had people curious and want to talk about the Joplin tornadoes, and that's sort of been the history with it. So I got to put Joplin up at the top of the list for the most tornado-ridden town of all time. And that's not counting the smaller ones we've had. We've had a bunch of smaller ones, or straight line winds, major ice storms. It's just like a very volatile weather place to live in. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you're all well. We'll talk later.